Hi, welcome to Life Expressions. I'm your host, Charie Ginete-Ilon. Today I'm excited because we're going to talk about a very exciting topic, the law of attraction. Have you ever wondered when someone always seems to get ahead and has the best life ever? What are they doing that others are not? Well, we might be able to find out their secret and find out what ignites the spark of an individual. I'm so glad to have with me again in the series of live expressions, Azim, Jamal, and Farzana Kherani. Hi, Azim and Farzana.
Morning. How are you?
Good morning.
Good morning.
It's a beautiful day. Look at that. A beautiful view from the house of Azim. That's just beautiful view here in Richmond. Anyways, I wanted to ask, what do you think about when we say law of attraction? Azim.
I think basically, what do you attract in your life through accidents, through incidents, through casual meetings, and what it leads up to is really the whole idea. And, there are two parts to it. There's synchronicity and there's serendipity. Synchronicity is when it happens just by your thought and by your feelings. Serendipity is when you purposely do something to get ahead of something and then you attract something faster. But both of them have some kind of attraction that leads to the outcome that you're looking for.
That's deep. I will get into that deeper later. How about you, Farzana?
I agree with Azim. I think, you sometimes you put something out there in the world. You say it out. Just this is what I'm thinking. This is what I want. And it comes.
Yes.
And not always, but it comes. And then there's opportunities where you meet someone or see something or something happens or someone calls you and says, I have this opportunity. Do you want it? Right. And so I agree. I think those are kind of the things that make it happen.
Yeah. I think the law of attraction is also universal, like the law of gravity, right? You cannot defy it. And when I think about it, it's like you become what you think about most of the time. What you think becomes things. So can you elaborate on that, Azim?
Yeah, I think, if you remember the masterclass, we talked about the three areas: affirmation, attraction, activity, impact, and living magnet. So affirmation attraction is I am, I am, I am, with intensity, with clarity, with frequency, with feeling. The more you do that, the more you start to believe it. But that's not enough. That's not enough. Then how do you align your time every day, align to your affirmation? So you design your activities every day, which is created to impact, not to trap. Many people are busy, busy, busy being a trap. So if that's aligned to the affirmation, then you become like a living magnet. You attract people, circumstances, accidents to help you achieve the affirmation.
Yes. And then there's also activity.
Yeah. So every day your time, you look at your schedule for the day. What are you doing? And how is this activity aligned to get you to the affirmation? If your activity is not aligned to what you're saying, I am, that means there's a disconnect. And then the power is not as strong. It's weak. It's a weak link towards it, right?
Yes.
And once the two are combined, then you become like a magnet. You vibrate. You vibrate, and people who are not in your orbit and are not connected to your affirmation, they disappear. Or they come and go because there's no connection. But if there is that connection, then they become part of your journey.
Yes, I agree with that. But you say to that, Farzana?
I mean, what more can you say?
Yeah.
Azim put it very elegantly, right? We learned this in the master class, right? Laws of attraction are literally that living magnet, right?
Yeah.
That's attraction of something coming towards you. What you're putting out there, you're receiving.
Yes,
And you're becoming.
I agree. I would also like to say that you attract what you are. You attract who you are. Have you noticed that when you start affirming and living your thoughts positively, good things just happen?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I think also the conviction, the zero doubt,
Yeah.
because small doubt is too big. Every fiber of your being has to resonate with what you're asking for and what you want.
Yeah.
And the more you become that, the more you find it more seamless in your journey, right? But if there's a little bit of disbelief or a little bit of doubt, a little bit of, disconnect between what you're thinking and what you're believing and what you're acting, then there is a problem, right?
Yes. Is there an experience in your life, Farzana, that you would like to share with us that you have said, hey, this law of attraction and this affirmation has worked for me?
Interesting question. I think I would have to go back to 2015 where there was an opportunity for me to serve. And I had never really had an opportunity to serve within the community in a leadership way. And there was, people calling me saying, you should do this, you should do this. And I'm like, no, I have young kids, don't really have time. Someone came knocking on my door and they said, no, we really want you to do this. And I said, I don't know that I can. And I think at the time I didn't believe that I could.
Yeah.
But I really put it out there. I said, if they have this much confidence in me, there's got to be confidence in myself to be able to do this. And I took on that position and wow, it was unbelievable. Like, yes, I had younger kids, but with my kids and the support of my husband, it was amazing. Like all of us ended up doing this leadership role together. It allowed me to believe in myself, in my ability, and in my own power of what I could help and make happen for our community.
Yeah. It's also about knowing what you want, thinking about it.
Yeah.
That is why they say, be careful what you think and be careful what you wish for. But the law of attraction is not just about positive thinking and wishful thinking, right, Azim?
Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, there has to be some action on your part. And also, how does it connect with your purpose? I think this is something we sometimes miss is that you can ask for anything you want in life, but if it doesn't connect with your purpose, there's again a disconnect. Sure. Because at the deep level, you're saying, I want this, but do I really want this? Does it tie in with what I really want? It's an ultimate purpose, of my life. And if that connection is there, then it's much more deeper. And then you attract the right kind of people, right kind of synchronicity, right kind of attraction to achieve the bigger goal, not the smaller goal, which is short term, right?
Yes.
So I think that's also very important. And I think how much you repeat that affirmation, how often do you think about it, and are you also thinking about other things that disconnect with that can also play a part in blocking it for you.
Correct. I would like to share that Azim and Farzana, you have both really helped me to zero in on my ultimate purpose credo, and that is because of the Ignite Your Spark Masterclass. And from there on, I have noticed that my life has really changed because from the moment that I have decided on what my ultimate purpose credo is, and I decided to really follow the advice, the steps that Azim was saying about attraction, affirmation attraction, journaling, saying every day what you want to happen in your life, and just believing in it without a doubt. And the purpose should be bigger than yourself.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
Yes. And so it has happened. So, and I'm glad that, hey, this really works. If you just believe and follow through, that will really happen for you.
So, Cher, I'm going to ask you a question. When we talk about you just have to believe,
Yes.
how do you really do that? How do you have that kind of faith or that understanding that I'm just going to believe it's going to happen and it will happen? And I know in our class, we've learned a lot about saying it out loud, you self-believing in it. But there's moments.
Yes.
There's moments that you have something you believe and then something else happens. How do you get that back?
Correct. That is very difficult and a very good question. For me, what I do when I have that moment of disbelief, I disregard it. I do not think about it. I read, I feed my mind with positive things. I tell myself, this is what you want and this is what you aspire for. You are going to get it. No ifs, no buts. You are going to get it. And of course, because the belief is it's not just about myself, but it's for a bigger purpose, then that is why I know it will happen because it is for the good.
I would add to this, when something bad happens, you have to say this bad is actually helping me to get to the good.
Right.
Because sometimes the bad may be, apparent, but there's a deeper meaning behind it. And sometimes from a bad, good things happen. So the belief is it's a stepping stone towards my outcome, not a stumbling block.
Right.
I like that. Yes, Farzana.
That's great because, when sometimes, we get into this rut, we get into this position where, oh, I had something terrible happen. What's the good in that?
Yes.
Right? Well, you look at something positive and be like, oh, I didn't get hurt or something worse could have happened or it happened to me and didn't happen to somebody else, right? Maybe I can handle it better than somebody else can handle it, right? Or what's my lesson that I'm learning from it? Why did I get this? because there's a lesson to be learned, right? And how do I change that?
Yes.
Right?
And Italian, what she was saying is because you believe the outcome is a done deal, there's zero doubt. Right? So all these are part and parcel of getting there, and it ties in with the ultimate goal, right?
Yes.
And the ultimate bigger purpose of larger than self. Because based larger than self, the universe is aligned to you.
True.
It's supporting you, right?
Yes. And if there are circumstances that happen to you that are not in your favor at that moment, it's how you see it too. It's your perspective. What good do you see in that circumstance? And then, of course, that good will come out.
It's the paradigm, right? It's the
Yeah.
paradigm when we said about Wayne Dyer's quote, when you change the way you look at things, it's easy to look at change. So if you change your paradigm and how you're looking at things are changing. It's the way you're looking at them. They're not changing as per se, but your thought process, your analysis, is changing towards what's happening.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Does this happen only in small groups or big groups? Definitely.
Things, regardless of the size of the goal, they happen. If you have bigger goals, you become bigger.
Yes.
See, we don't have capacity. We have a lot of capacity. As Michelangelo says, kind of paraphrase it. The tragedy in life is not that you're aiming too high about getting there. The tragedy in life is that you're aiming too low and getting there. So when we aim big, we become bigger. And we step up our potential, our capacity, our abilities to be able to achieve more, right? I think there's a beautiful quote by Mendino.
Yeah.
He says, a star can brighten the earth, an ant can devour a tiger, a raindrop can wash away a mountain, a slave can build a pyramid one brick at a time. So big things happen small steps at a time, but you have to have that aspiration, that goal, bigger than self to achieve that.
Correct. And in the law of attraction, in those things that we do, we should not limit our thoughts and ourselves, right? We say, okay, I can only do this. Don't limit yourself because you have to be limitless. I would like to believe that we are limitless. Are we?
I think we are. That's because if we're going to believe in something bigger than yourself, you have to be limitless.
Yes.
Right? There's an opportunity for you to, be what you want, but bigger.
I mean, ultimately, we're much, much bigger than we think.
Yeah.
And we can ask, But the thing is, what is the reason for achieving whatever you want to achieve? The reason has to be bigger than self. And if that is the case, and also if it's tied to your ultimate purpose, the thing that you want to say to your creator when you're dying, then that gives you the power. If that's the case, then I'm going to achieve it. And I have the capacity to achieve it. There's a whole idea about, I think in the scriptures it says, on no soul do we put a burden larger than its capacity to bear.
Yes.
So if you have a big catastrophe, it's because you have the capacity to bear it. Otherwise, it will not come to you. But most people don't believe that because when they have a catastrophe, they think the world's coming to an end instead of feeling, why is it coming to me? Because I have the capacity to bear it, overcome it, and use it for a future direction that I had, right?
And I want to add to that is even in catastrophes, when you have an abundance of opportunities, people keep knocking on your door and you'll keep saying yes. And you wonder why you keep saying yes. And the opportunity, becomes bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And you're, kind of going up this ladder. But it's because you have that within you to do it. Right? We're true believers. You're only given what you can handle.
Yeah, I like that.
And talking about resilience last time we spoke about it. See, resilience, when you get so many bigger issues, bigger challenges, bigger hurdles, you become more powerful.
Yeah.
And you're able to do more. Things like a muscle, the more you use it, the stronger it becomes. If you don't use it, you lose it.
Yes.
So when you're having these difficulties and challenges, instead of looking at them as a problem or a burden, you say, hey, this is giving me a chance to be more creative, more dynamic, more innovative, to be able to solve it. And I increase my capacity to be able to achieve things.
Yes, because the small problems, they don't bother you anymore because you have overcome the bigger ones, right? Yes. Speaking about abundance, Farzana, you have mentioned abundance. The way you think also defines your life, right? You can think about abundance or scarcity. If you think about abundance of imagination, abundance of joy, grace, wealth, that will happen to you. But if you think about scarcity, that will also happen to you.
I agree 100%. There's definitely moments, when you feel like you're on top of the world.
Yeah.
Because like everything is happening and you're just like, you're in this great place. And then you have that slightest doubt and something falls off. I'm like, oh, what happened? Well, it's exactly how you said. You had that bit of fear where, okay, now I'm going to take off that piece. And then you revert back and be like, no, I'm not afraid of this. I'm going to keep going. And you feel like that abundance is still there.
Yeah. If you go to the ocean with one bucket, how much water will you get? One. If you go to the ocean with 1,000 buckets, so the ocean is there. The universe is so expansive. And how you think. If you think small, you remain small.
Yeah.
What the mind conceives, the mind achieves.
Yes.
If you go to the ocean with one bucket, you get one bucket of water, right? So I think the mentality creates, but for what purpose? When the purpose is negative, when the purpose is ego, when the purpose is, show off, you'll get it, but it will not give you the joy and the happiness. You mentioned about small things, right? It's funny you mentioned because there's a whole philosophy. I think there's a big tree for 400 years. It's standing there with volcanoes, with, things happening, lightning. The tree stands for 400 years. Doesn't get affected by a big, big catastrophe.
Yes.
Because then small insects come and destroys the whole tree.
Yeah.
After 400 years of staying there. So sometimes in life, small problems kill us.
Yeah.
We attend to big problems, but when small problems happen, we try to make it a big deal.
Yes.
Then the small things become big things and ruin our life. So how do we realize, and separate what really matters most that you want to focus on, not what matters least? What matters least should never be, and what matters most must never be at the mercy of what matters least. To differentiate that and focus on the big things aligned to your formation can be very important.
Wow. How do you do that? That's very deep. How do you do that?
I think the way you do it is if your affirmations are every day, every morning, every night. You walk it, you talk it, you breathe it, you sleep it. So you're very clear about what you want. And when small things come and bother you are not relevant, you just discard them because you're on top of things. But if your focus is not strong, if your focus is not very clear, crystal clear, then you stumble here, stumble there, and you get sidetracked.
Yes.
You get distracted. If you look at great people great people who have business success like Warren Buffett or Bill Gates, one of the biggest qualities they had was focus. Focus on one thing and not 20 things. Focusing on the vital few, not the trivial many. But knowing the vital few and having the ability to focus on that is a master skill of great people, right?
Correct. I would like to share with you that, in fact, for me, focus is one of the biggest problems that I had. So I have to print the word focus and put it right in front of me in my office so that I will not forget it. Focus on what you aspire for, or on the things that you need to do. Do the things that really matter most. And about this activity, because Azim mentioned here at the beginning that affirmation is not complete. It's not going to happen for you if you just recite it. It has to be coupled with actions, right? What do you do, Farzana, to ensure that attraction works for you?
You take on opportunities where people call you and say, can you come and help me do something? And you say, okay, I'm going to come and do this. And when you do, it's not just you. There's like a team that unitedly makes something happen, right? And so in our Jamal kind of space, for example, right now we have a lot of events that are happening. I'm volunteering with like a group of 20, 30 people. But when you see us all together and you're united and we're making it happen, and we see the smiles on everyone's faces because they're so happy, right? That's one way. That's one way to make something happen, right? You're at work and, there's someone that's feeling not so good about something and they're having a bad day or they're just not well or something's wrong. And all you do is just say something kind.
Yeah.
Give them a hug. Guess what? Just made their day and made yours too.
Wonderful.
Right?
A couple of points which Farzana is bringing up. One is that, when you put your hand out,
Yes.
the universe conspires to help you. Sure. Teams or whatever things happen because you put your hand up and align to what you want to achieve. It's part of the affirmation. And the other flip side to it is learning to say no.
Yeah. Yes.
Learning to say no for a deeper yes. For deeper yes is your affirmation, where I am, then not saying yes to everything. Because if you're saying yes to everything, then you're saying no to your affirmation.
Yes.
So on the one hand, if it's aligned to your affirmation, say yes and believe that it's going to be done and you'll get all the help you need in the example you give. And sometimes also to realize if I'm going to say yes to everything, then I'm losing focus.
So that comes to mind the activity impact and activity track, right? You do not just do everything. do the things that matter to you and you think will help you achieve your goal. Right? Can you elaborate on that?
You know, see, most people, first of all, are not clear what they want.
Yes.
And so their affirmations are not clear. So which means now you're open to anything, right? So anything that comes, you are saying yes or no, by guesswork or intuition or how you feel, but it's not crystal clarity. So the crystal clarity and affirmation helps you to be what you want.
Yeah.
And the next step is to have a discipline. We will say no, because you get so many opportunities. And then again, there's 3 levels. There's the bad, average, good, and best. 4 levels, right?
Yeah.
So if you're focusing on the best or the great, then you say no to the good. And it's very hard to say no to the good because good gets attractive, but it's not the best. So the enemy of the best is not the worst. The enemy of the best is the good. I settle for the good, but I didn't become the best.
Exactly.
And that's very hard for people.
Yeah.
So there are many levels of problems. Either you're not clear about what you want, which means that you're praying to everybody.
Right.
And sometimes you're clear about what you want, but you don't know where to say yes and no because the discipline is not there, or you cannot differentiate between great and good.
So how do you get there, Azim?
So, you know, it's again, we talked about it. The reason we had the masterclass for 66 days was to create a kind of a habit of regular, you know, acting on things until it becomes as natural as breathing. Fast you're breathing.
Say yes,
How do you know?
because I'm here.
Yeah, so because you're alive, but you're not saying I'm breathing. So when you drill and you drill and you drill, it becomes as natural as breathing. It's called mastery.
Yeah.
But to get there, it requires a lot of discipline and focus, which most people are unwilling to do, or unable to do for some reason, and that's why they don't get to mastery.
Yeah. I would also like to add that it also boils down to habit, right? Habit, sometimes when you say discipline, it's not just saying no, but also you need to do the things that you need to do, even if you don't feel like doing it. Because you've got to, like for example, waking up early in the morning. There are times that you feel you're lazy, right? But you said, okay, I need to get up early because I want to exercise, I want to meditate, I want to do this, and that. But if you don't, because okay, I don't feel like it today, and so if you're not consistent, you're not gonna create a habit. You were gonna say something.
It was interesting, Azim, because you asked me the question about breathing. And I said, it's because I'm here, right? And you said you're alive. But then you actioned that. So that was the question. So I think for some people, when you ask that question, they have to think and question themselves to realize, am I breathing? So I have to actually, sniff to say, oh, yeah, I'm breathing.
Yeah.
But when you're just asking the question and right away saying, I'm here, I'm alive, your questioning is not there anymore.
Yeah.
So you're already one step ahead.
Yes. And you've got to be intentional too, right? Like, for example, when we want to really breathe deeply, we've got to be intentional about it. When you want to achieve bigger things, you've got to be intentional about it. Like, okay, this is my goal, eyes on the prize, right?
And you mentioned about waking up early in the morning and you feel like sleeping. The point is, what is it after you wake up that you want to do?
Exactly.
And so how is that so important for you? If there's something you want to do so much, then waking up is no big deal because you wake up because you're so excited to do something. Whatever you're aspiring for, whatever the affirmations are, has to be something that you are, it's like so important for you that you will sacrifice anything to do it.
Correct.
Now, very few people find that. They're calling. I have a calling to do. I have this to do. And nothing will stop me from doing this. And I can say no to everything. And I can wake up early and I cannot sleep because I need to do this.
Yeah.
Now, finding that is also a gift, social grace.
Yes.
And very few people get it. And those are the people who, if you look at some examples, of people who have created magic. In this guy example, I gave the example of Vincent van Gogh. 10 years, he was 27, he started painting. 37, he passed away. 10 years, he did I don't know how many creations. Only sold one painting for a few hundred francs. And after he died, his painting was sold for millions of dollars, right?
Yes.
But he created some really good stuff and he was depressed. But he had something that was focusing on that. Look at Picasso. Picasso said, my mom said, if I was going to be a soldier, I'd become a general. If I was a monk, I'd become a pope. But I was a painter, I became Picasso.
Mm-hmm.
He chose his own path and he became whatever he became, right? Such a great, So I think these are the examples of people who find something which is a gift for them and then they put all their life behind it. And no matter how much they struggle in lifetime, and sometimes they don't become successful in their own life, but their work continues. Rumi is a Sufi poet. How many centuries have passed and people are now reading about him because he created something so powerful.
Just getting out of bed, there is a contrast between a person crawling out of bed and a person jumping out of bed.
Yes.
Because you are excited to do something, right? Yeah. You have any questions for us, Azim?
Yeah, I think we're talking about all these concepts which sound simple, but what's simple to do is simple not to do.
Yeah.
So my question to both of you would be, how do you feel about your affirmations? Do you feel you've reached a level where it is so clear that you're able to withstand anything in your life to achieve it? And no matter what comes in your way, you don't sway away from that. And if you're already there, then what is stopping you to accelerate the process?
Great question. I would say that I'm not all the way there yet, but I haven't given up, right? I feel like I'm a work in progress. I feel that there are things that I need to continue to do to say on a regular basis, I need to keep going and going and going and making it that pattern to say that now it's a part of my life. So yes, there's things that I need to continue to work on. So I'm not quite there yet, but I know the things I need to do. I just need to put that in practice.
Almost the same with Farzana. I'm very clear with my purpose, but it's not every day that I am doing the things that I need to do to get there. So I am also work in progress, but I know I am getting there and I will get there because the first thing I already know. I know what I want and I'm thinking towards that and I'm acting towards that. Yes. Sometimes not consistently though.
Yeah, I think just to add to what you said is we talked about last time about the biggest room in the world is room for improvement. Farzana was honest enough to say that she's working towards that thing that she really, and then of course you talked about my effort towards that that I'm working towards. So room for improvement to find that, room for improvement to work towards what you're getting there. And the beauty is no matter where you are, there's still going to be room for improvement.
Sure.
Isn't it about crystal clarity of where you want to go?
Yes.
Even if you think you're doing your best can be improved. That's the beauty about life. And as long as we know where we are and we are able to be observant, not just seeing things, but observing. See, if you observe, okay, I have the clarity of what I want. Sometimes is the clarity being reinforced day in, day out, hour in, hour out? Am I getting sidetracked or distracted? The chances are yes. How do I improve that? Then, okay, if I'm getting more focused and I know what I want, am I putting my energy, my time, my thoughts, my actions towards it? And where can I improve? Day by day, observing and saying, today, how was I? Where did I do very well to give energy?
Yeah.
And where can I do better? That aspect of analysis and evaluating can help you little by little get better and better. In Swahili, we say, haba na haba ujaza kibaba.
Yeah.
Drop by drop, you fill the bucket.
Yes.
So drop by drop, you're getting better. And if you're doing that, then at least you're working towards, the final outcome that you want. Until you die, there's only going to be room for improvement.
It's always a journey, right? And what matters most is that we enjoy the journey. If you could say, like, you enjoy the ride.
Yes. Again, everything that we're talking about ties to happiness.
Yes.
You think, why do you want to affirm? Why do you want to achieve what you want to achieve? Why do you want to be disciplined? Ultimately, you think, because if I do that, it'll make me happy. So if you think about it, you ask anybody, what do you want out of life? They'll tell you, I want money, I want good health, I want good looks, I want a good house, I want a good relationship. But then you ask them, why do you want the money? Because give me happiness. Why do I want a good relationship? Because it make me happiness. So ultimately, we're all looking for happiness. And then there are two types of happiness. The temporary happiness, you see a movie and you get excited, you have a good meal, you get drunk, but it's temporary. But how do you have lasting happiness? And we talked about it before, the 7 steps to lasting happiness. But really, it's about meaningful things, about things that matter most, can make impact in people's lives, and also counting your blessings. Because the more you count your blessings, the more your blessings multiply, right? Sure. And doing your best and leaving the rest because and not worrying about what other people think.
Mm-hmm.
This is the other thing. If you worry about what other people think, you always sway away from your affirmations. Because people expect you to do different things than what you're doing because they don't know why you're doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
And so they will look at you and say, hey, why not this and why not that?
Yeah.
But if you try to justify or try to react to them, then you lose focus. You lose your
That will paralyze you. And so I think one movie I saw said, like, do not let any other people tell you what you cannot do. Don't tell them. Don't allow them to tell you that you cannot do this, right? If you think you can, yes, you can. Thoughts are powerful.
Yeah.
What do you say to
You know, and it's so true. And I think part of it is, even if people do come and say that to you,
Yeah.
right? You have to believe in yourself.
Yes.
If you're not believing in yourself, that's where those doubts are going to creep in, and then they're going to hurt, and you're going to feel that. And we're human. Of course, it's going to happen. And yes, you're going to have doubt, but find a way to just mitigate that, take it away, and say, you know, I know that I'm better than this. I know that I didn't do that. This was not me. This was not myself. This was something I did wrong. It's circumstance. And sometimes people don't see all of that at the same time. Azim's taught me that a lot in a lot of situations when we've had conversations. You have to look at, did you do something wrong? If you felt like you did something wrong, absolutely feel that way. But if you know deep in your heart, you were truly being you and you didn't do something wrong, then it's not doubt on you, it's doubt on them.
You know, one thing this Farzana mentions is about the people telling you you're doing something wrong. You don't have to be defensive.
Yeah.
You don't have to say, I mean, because the more defensive you become, you know, one thing I've realized that every time I've been defensive about anything,
Mhm.
when I think deep about it, I became defensive because what they said was right.
Yes.
If what they said was not right, I would not be defensive.
Yes.
So you don't have to be defensive. You just say thank you for your feedback and you move on.
Yeah.
And let your actions do the talking. With words, you can only preach, with action, you teach, right? So, and when you become defensive, ask yourself, why did I become defensive?
Yeah.
Was there something that they said was true that's made me feel that I had to react?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I think that's also important to be able to realize you don't have to prove anything to anybody. You have to make sure that you're true to yourself, as William Shakespeare would say, to thine own self be true.
Yeah.
And just like the night follows the day, thou cannot be false to anybody else.
Yes.
Being true to yourself is the key, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Any question, Fran?
I mean, I asked a couple of questions.
Yeah. Going back to attraction, what are the things that people do that stop them from getting to where they want to go? What do you think? Like observations from yourself, from your family and friends, what do you think people do that stop them from achieving what they want?
You know, I truly believe that people don't know what ability and strength they have within themselves. You know, you can see something in someone, right? I see a lot in you, sharing a lot in you, Azim, right? And, you know, in a lot of people, I see like, yes, you could be this leader, or yes, you could take this job, or yes, you can do this work, or, you know, network with this person and get where you want to be. But they themselves don't see it. And when you yourself don't see it, it makes it difficult for you to get to that place.
For me, I think the reason that happens is, you know, perhaps what you're attracting for, what you aspire to attract, the affirmation is not very strong. You see, and because it's not very strong, then that's going to prevent you to achieve it, because anything would come in your way and you'll get sidetracked because that is not that the conviction is not there. You're not 100% sure. So anything that comes to you, you take it because it looks good. It's okay, right? But if you're so clear and it's so meaningful for you, then most of the things are going to be no.
Yeah.
Because you're so crystal clear about what is yes for me, and you're able to say no to things and focus on the vital few. So that will be one of the things that might prevent you. And the other one, of course, is discipline, that, you know, having an ability to be able to do what you say you're going to do.
Some friends of mine, I think they share with me that they're always afraid to fail.
Yeah.
Like they do not go for it because like, oh, I might not be able to do this. I'm not good enough. Like there's this imposter syndrome as well. And then they just don't want to try. And they don't have the drive. Yes, self-doubt. Agree with that.
Yeah.
What are the steps, Azim and Farzana, that a person should do every single day to attract the good, the best, the positive in their life so that they could live, or we could live our best?
You know, affirmation, of course, is really important. You know, your ultimate purpose credo is something you're reciting every single day. But I think to add to that, when you go to sleep, and before you go to sleep, you say to yourself, I'm tolerant, I'm enough, I believe, I'm kind. You know, you say those things and you go to sleep and you dream them, you wake up feeling them. And then you say them again, right? It's okay to put sticky notes all over your home.
Yeah.
And remind yourself how good you are, because every person is good. right? And so I think that's really how you start to make yourself feel like, I can do this. I am doing this. It's Azim says, I am.
Yeah.
It's not I can.
Yes.
I am. And if I am patient, if I am kind, I'm gonna be those things. Careful.
So, no, I think it's a great question. If you look at the vision, where do I want to go? That's my affirmation.
Yes.
The mission is the purpose why I want to go there. Values is what traits I want to display while I'm getting there, like my way of approach. What's the strategy? What's the right way of getting there? The fastest way, the most efficient and the most effective way. And then the execution is the action. So every night, every morning when you wake up and you say your affirmations loudly, I am this. And then you take a piece of paper or diary or whatever, you say, now, this is my schedule for the day. What I'm going to be doing every day, aligned to this. What's my activity impact? Be very ruthless about it. It's the less time you give, the better. The previous principle, the more time you give something, the more time it takes.
Yeah.
So the less time you give, the more focused you become. Sometimes I do 15 minutes this, 15 minutes this. So that's small pieces to do something gives you a focus, right? And of course, allows some gap for breathing and for water or something. But yeah, I think that, and then at the end of the day, look at what you did and what your affirmation was, and say, praise yourself for what you did right.
Yeah.
Because you need energy, and see where you could improve. And next day you improve. So that kind of discipline of being clear about the vision, the way you're going, the mission, the purpose why I'm going there, the values, the traits I want to display, the strategy, what's the best way to get there, which is part of your timetable for the day, and then the action part.
Yes.
Then evaluation and then improving. I think those are the steps one has to take to become better and better and better every day in every way.
That's wonderful. I want to add to what Azim is saying just around that priority list.
Yeah.
Because, people will make a list and it will be like, so long. And you do your check marks. You're like, oh, I got this done and I got this done. I got this done. And then by the end of the day, you're like, it's only like 2 p.m. I've got a whole 4 hours of something I can do for myself or, do something else. But then there's people out there that look at the list and be like, I only did this much. Right. And I think part of that is, you have to find it within yourself to be like, I accomplished a lot. And even, as Azim says, even if it's 15 minutes of doing that each time. But I think something he taught us and really sunk in was you put your 3 top priorities and make those happen every single day. Everything else is a piece of cake.
I like that. Prioritize your priorities.
Just to add to this, sometimes you'll have a bad day.
Yeah.
It's normal, right? Something can happen. Somebody had an emergency in your house, your family. It was not a priority, but now it's a priority because something you have to do.
Yeah.
But remember, the day is not over yet.
Yeah.
It's like, it's not over till it's over. And I give this example. In 1999, I went to Paris. I had a full day of sessions in Paris. And then in the evening, there was a game, the Champions League final. Manchester United was playing Bayern Munich, and I support Manchester United, and I wanted to watch the game, so I taped the game. I said I watched it at night. When I finished the events, the guy I was supposed to organize the events asked me to go for dinner at his house. So I would, but I went for dinner. As I go for dinner, there's a dining table. Like we're entering the room, there's a big TV. 90 minutes is over, the game, and the game is being played, and my team is losing 1-0. There's only 2 minutes extra time. And I'm sitting there, first of all, sulking that I wanted to see the game. I didn't get a chance to see the game. The game is over, and my team is losing, and it's almost 2 minutes left. So I'm sitting there. In 2 minutes, Manchester scored 2 goals, and they won the game. So it made me realize it's not over. It's over. The final whistle is not blown. So even the day is bad, it's 5 a.m., 6 p.m. Hey, if you're going to sleep at 9 p.m., you got 4 hours. You can catch up in 4 hours of the top 3 priorities, even though the day became whatever through a emergency happened in the house. Still able to do it, but people then give up and say, "Okay, it is gone." It's not gone yet. It's not over. So having the ability to catch up, if necessary, what you lost out, or maybe if it's not a day, it's the week that you can catch up on.
Correct. Always be clear on your aspirations. Do something towards it, and don't give up. Right? Yeah. And for myself, I do a vision board so that I will not forget, hey, this is what you really want. Focus on what you want and do the things that you need to do to get to what you want. And what I want is not for myself, but bigger than self. I think that's what I really learned, right? It's not just about ourselves, it's about what you want for others.
And
as
it
well.
gives you the joy, right?
Yes.
That's when get happiness is to give happiness. When you're doing something for other people or causes that are large in themselves, there's deeper meaning.
Yeah.
And that gives you lasting happiness. It's not temporary happiness. You do it for yourself, you can get temporary happiness, but it's short-lived because it's selfish. You're selfless. It gives you your happiness and other people's happiness and causes as well, which is a multiplier effect.
Which brings me to another question. How do you know what's larger than self?
If it's not about you, if the goal is for something good for others and for the community, that's larger than self.
I think the one way to also to add to this is to ask yourself, if it's achieved, so what? So what happens to the cause? What happens to people around you or nature or whatever? And then how do you feel about it? And that gives you the analysis. And usually it doesn't have to be either or. It has to be larger than self, but indirectly it helps you to be more happier, more fulfilled because you contributed to something bigger, right?
Right. Yeah. Right. I like that. Finally, what would you like to say to a person whom you think is struggling to find that spark within, either through purpose or instruction, resilience, or knowing?
I would say to find your aspiration, find what you feel is bigger than self, and say to yourself every day, I believe in myself, I have the ability to do, and I have my own power.
I like that. Azim.
For me, I would say if you believe in God, with whatever power you believe in, said to you, you can do anything you want. What do you want in life? If you can answer that question, that if I could do anything, nothing could stop me to be like becoming amazingly successful, what would I dare to do? That makes you realize this is what I would do if I could do anything in my life. That shows you, because sometimes the desire also comes from within. You have a power within, you have a soul within, you have a God within. And then withinness will tell you, this is what I would do if I knew I would never fail. That could become a starting point because you have the capacity.
Yes.
If you have a desire, you also have the capacity.
Absolutely.
But most people lack the desire, not knowing what I want to do or shifting it. Today I want this, tomorrow I want that, next day I don't know what I want. And then also the self-doubt becomes part of it because who am I to believe this? I mean, how can I do this?
Yeah.
That also becomes part of the problem.
In closing, I'd like to share that every day I say this prayer, and I'd like to share it with both of you and our listeners. I say, God will do exceedingly abundantly above all I ask and think because I honor Him. Everything will be in my favor. People will go out of their way to be good to me. I am where I'm supposed to be, and everything will be in my favor.
Beautiful.
Absolutely.
Amen.
Beautiful. Yeah. Well said.
Thank you so much, Farzana and Azim. And looking forward to our next episode next week. And if you like this episode, please share it with your friends and hit that subscribe button of Life Expressions to keep us going and giving you these episodes. Don't forget, you can be a positive impact wherever you are, in all that you do, however you can.